Today we talk about
Hello. Okay. How to stand out in medical school rotations and get good ass LORs, letters of recommendation, LORs. So I didn't do a good job of this, but I know how to. And the key is, well, I didn't do a good job in medical school, I should say that. But in residency, I really turned it around. And we'll actually talk about that next. But for now, I think when you are in your third year of residency, medical school, and you start doing these rotations, what you want to do is be as proactive as possible. You want to be asking a ton of questions, always be curious, always be asking why, talk to your residents, but you got to find a fine line of not being annoying about it, but show genuine interest, offer to present a topic when the attending and the team is doing rounds, be like, oh, I could volunteer to talk about this topic tomorrow before or after rounds or something like that. Always offer to help and always look to be one step ahead, which is hard to do, especially if you don't have any background in medicine or if you don't have any family members in medicine that have gone through this. But try to always be one step ahead in terms of, like, let's say you're coming in every morning to help the residents, do pre-rounds and collect data for the patients. And let's say, if you were to talk to them and ask them pertinent questions about how they're doing it, what's important to them, what they're looking for, then maybe the next day you show up a little bit earlier, or even if you don't show up earlier, you're there and know that they're going to be looking for XYZ, and you get that thing for them, or you find that information for them, and you have that ready for them and easier for them to access. Trying to think of a good example, like let's say you're headed to a certain patient to look at their chart, and they still do paper charts at your hospital. You want to find that chart as quick as possible and bring it to that team member so that they have access to it. Because I can't tell you how many times I would look for a chart, couldn't find it, and now I spend like a good 5-10 minutes looking for a chart. It's like the most frustrating thing. But if you were to help them and know where these things are at all times, keep them organized on the floor so that when they're needing to be accessed, you get them. It's going to be a huge help. And yeah, just always being present, Don't seem annoyed to be there. Don't, I feel like that goes without saying, but, idiot, wooder-dee. Yeah, just be excited to be there, genuinely excited to be there, be ready to learn, be genuinely curious and asking questions in the operating room, on the surgery rotations, offer to, what do they call it? Retract, hold the retractor. And yeah, just always be asking questions and don't shy away from the pimping process. So a lot of medical students get all wrung out of shape about pimping. Like, pimping is a good thing. Pimping keeps you sharp. Pimping tells you what you need to work on and what you don't. And for those that don't know, pimping is when the attending will just straight up just ask you a question in the middle of lecturing you, or in the middle of rounds, like, hey, so why is vitamin D important in this case, in this scenario? Why are we cutting this vein and not that vein? Why are we using this antibiotic and not that antibiotic? And here's what you got to understand, man. They're asking this question because they're trying to teach you it, but by asking in a pimping format, it really forces you to come up with an answer. And if you don't have it, that should really kickstart you to be like, oh, damn, I guess I don't know as much as I thought. I better go home and learn this tonight. On top of all those things, you can't try to bullshit them, right? Like, you can't just don't try to impress someone if you don't know the answer, but you want to dance around it and maybe come up with the answer if you talk long enough. That'll work in the creative arts and bullshit fields. I don't even want to throw any under the bus, but there's those fields out there where you just talk your way out of things. This is not one of those things. Just say, I don't know. If you get pimped and you don't know the answer, as quick as possible, you should be excited to say, I don't know. That's the mentality you should have, because you're never going to be in this, you may not be young, but in this young state / early novice state of your medical training. So this is the time to say, I don't know. Because if you go through bullshitting your way through, and next thing you know, you're a fourth year looking back at third years, or you're a intern looking back at the medical students, or now, God forbid, you're a resident looking back on the interns, and you're the person that's being looked to answer these questions, and you still don't know, bro, that is going to be super embarrassing. So take the embarrassment early on, which really shouldn't be embarrassing. Dude, you're not supposed to know. You're here to learn. If you already knew it, you wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So like, just the minute I like grasped this concept, it was so liberating, because anytime I got pimped, anytime I got asked anything during medical school that I didn't know, I was so excited to just say, I don't know. Your turn to talk. Teach me. Thank you. Got my gun. Like that's that's the attitude you should have, is to be in the state of learning, and you can only learn if you say you don't know, because that's when you find out that's what you need to learn. So yeah, definitely be not hesitant to say I don't know, because they can see it in your face, man. They know when you don't know the answer. They already know the answer. That's why they're asking you the question. Duh. So don't bullshit. Don't dance around it. Don't stand there while there's like three other people on the team, usually your seniors, who definitely know the answer because they probably heard this guy or girl ask this question a billion times in a different rotation before. You're not going to impress anyone by trying to bullshit through it and still not have the answer. Just freaking say you don't know, then get the answer, learn, and keep moving. Like, don't consider it like a bully tactic. I mean, some people may get too carried away with it and make you feel bad for not knowing an answer. That's unacceptable. But it really should just be an exercise in saying, hey, do you know this or not? And if you don't, I'm about to teach you, and let's keep it moving. So yeah, just be excited to learn, be excited to help out, and that's going to be the main thing. Now, when I got to residency, I was doing a lot of similar things along those lines, and really, you just want to be as active as possible, especially if you're in residency looking to match into a specific fellowship. You want to spend as much time in that department as possible. Any free time you have to spend in that department, you do that. Let's say you have a lecture or a different obligation for your regular program at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. If the department that you're trying to match with has a board review session or like a journal club thing at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., hey man, I was waking up early to go do that. You know, you want to show them that you want to be there. During lunch, if they're meeting up to do something and your lunchtime is free, go do it with them. You know what I mean? Spend as much time with the department that you're trying to impress. Show them that you really want to be there, you know? And that's going to set you apart from everyone else, because people are going to see you, people are going to recognize you, people are going to recognize your commitment. These all go a long way, you know? It's not just about the grades. Although don't forget, the grades are a big deal. And along with that will come the letters of recommendation, because when you want those letters of rec, that's the experience that they're going to draw from, is, you know, what kind of worker were you? What kind of student were you? What kind of learner were you? You know, were you an asshole? Were you difficult to work with? Were you excited to be there? All these kinds of things. So, you know, don't focus on being the smartest person in the room. That's not going to be what's impressive to people on these rotations, because honestly, you're not supposed to know anything when you arrive there. You're supposed to leave knowing a lot more than when you came. If you know a lot of ish, great. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world. Like, you're not supposed to know everything when you get there. You're supposed to get there and learn. So anyway, I think, is that good? Is that good info? I think I answered the question. But yeah, that's how you stand out in rotations. You just be a good person and be proactive. And those are the main things. Oh, and don't be late. And yeah, don't be overbearing. Don't be annoying, which is so vague, I know, but it just is what it is. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Okay, let me know if you have other questions. We'll see you in the next one. We out. Peace.